Hey guys, welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own kombucha SCOBY at home. So there's two different ways that you can do this, and if you're new to the world of kombucha, kombucha is a probiotic-rich fermented tea beverage. I'm sure you've seen it at the grocery store. There is so many different brands of kombucha on the market these days, but it really is easy to make it yourself at home. It will save you a lot of money, and it's really great to be able to play around with different flavors, how long you're fermenting your beverage, and so it gives you a lot more flexibility than purchasing store-bought. So today I'm gonna share with you two different methods for being able to start your own SCOBY at home. Check the description box down below. I'll have some great resources. I have a book that I've been using for about 12 years that has some great skincare recipes in it. It's got some great cocktail recipes as well as different flavors of kombucha that you can make. It's just a really great resource for a lot of information about kombucha as a whole. What it is, what it's good for. So if you're interested in having a book like that, check the description box down below and I'll have a link for that book. But let's go ahead and get started making our kombucha SCOBY. So start by boiling 4 cups of water. So when your water is almost to a boil, you can go ahead and turn it off. And to that 4 cups of water, you're gonna add 3 bags of either black or green tea. Now I personally prefer black tea, but it's really up to you, either will work. And you're just gonna let that steep as long as you would normally let a cup of tea steep. While your tea is steeping, go ahead and add 1/3 of a cup of organic cane sugar or organic sugar in the raw to your steeping tea. So I'm using organic cane sugar, but again, you can use sugar in the raw or whatever you have on hand. 1/3 of a cup, and add that to your tea. So after your tea has been steeping for about 5 minutes, you can go ahead and remove the tea bags. And give it another stir. You just want to make sure that all those sugars in there are completely dissolved. So I went ahead and brewed a batch of tea earlier so it had time to come down to room temperature. You want to make sure that you do not add any kombucha starter or a SCOBY or anything to boiling water. It's going to kill the culture and it won't grow. So this has been sitting at room temperature for about 4 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and add my tea and my sugar mixture into a vessel that I want to brew my kombucha in. You want to make sure that your jar is cleaned and sanitized, and to do that I just put some boiling water and vinegar in there to sterilize it, and I dry it off. Then you're going to add your 4 cups of tea mixture into your brewing jar. And take a bottle of regular kombucha that you purchased at the grocery store. You're going to open it carefully. So you'll add 2 cups of store-bought kombucha to your cooled tea mixture. So once you've added your 2 cups of your store-bought kombucha to your tea mixture, you're going to want to cover your jar with either a washcloth or a tea towel. I don't really like to use cheesecloth because I have seen fruit flies be able to get through that. So if you're interested in learning how to make one of these jar covers, I do have a tutorial for that, and I'll go ahead and link that here. So that is method number 1 for being able to make your kombucha SCOBY. This is going to sit for about 7 to 10 days, and within that time you'll see a opaque film forming on the top, and that is going to be your SCOBY. So that's method number 1. So another really simple method for being able to make your own kombucha SCOBYs at home, and this is especially good if you want to make quite a few of them so you can gift them to people, is to take clean sterilized jars, and you're just going to take the kombucha directly from the store and you're just going to pour it in to a drinking jar. Now if you bought a full bottle, you can divide it up between 3 or 4 different jars. And you're just going to cover these jars and set them off to the side. And then again, in about 7 to 10 days, you're gonna see a SCOBY formed on the top of your kombucha. So I prefer this method for making a kombucha SCOBY for a couple of reasons. The main reason is you're gonna have this rich liquid that you can use to start your first batch of kombucha, as well as a place to keep all your SCOBYs that you're gonna be making. So every time you brew a batch of kombucha, you're gonna get a new SCOBY that forms on top of that batch, and you're gonna need a place to put it. So obviously you can leave it in your kombucha to ferment, but eventually you'll have so many of them in there that your kombucha kind of gets a really tangy, really fermented taste really quickly. And it's better to have it brew over 7 to 10 days. So if you have all this liquid here, you can take those SCOBYs and you have a nice place to put them where they will continue to multiply and have sugars and enzymes to feed off of. So here is an example of my SCOBY hotel. Now this is obviously pretty empty compared to what it usually is. I gifted a lot of SCOBYs to people that were interested in starting their own kombucha. So here's a SCOBY that has been in this jar for about 7 days. So as you can see, it's got a really opaque color to it. It's kind of gelatinous. It kind of feels like Jello a little bit, but this is your SCOBY that you're gonna add to your tea to brew your kombucha. So having a jar like this with extra liquid where your SCOBYs can live is just a really great thing to have. So I really enjoy being able to have extra SCOBYs to gift to people. They're great to put in a garden once they've kind of outlived their days of being able to ferment. You can freeze dry them and make dog treats out of them. You can make hair masks and face masks and just lots of really great things that you can do with these SCOBYs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial today where I shared 2 really simple methods for starting your own kombucha SCOBY at home. Cheers!